Hello there, all of my beautiful people. Very welcome back to my channel if you are returning, and if you're new, very welcome to Aero Aces. My name is Shireen, and what we do here every Monday is I just look into the energies of the coming week to see what we can have our attention drawn to, what kind of energies are coming in, and any advice that Spirit can offer in support of us as we move through the week. It's been pretty heavy energy the past couple of weeks. I'm sure some of you would have noticed there's still some very much some heavy emotional energy that's shifting and moving around us. Please try to breathe, take it in your stride, do what you can to get rest and look after yourself and eat as well as possible, and all of those good things that can support us in some way or another. Okay, so I'm going to just ask what Spirit wants to bring up in terms of what the energies around us are for the week, or what messages they have. I'm probably going to only use one deck of cards today. I'll see about the other one that's kind of drawing my attention, but we'll see what unfolds here. For now, I'm using the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reid, and we're going to see what pops up. All right, so can I please see what we need to be aware of, or what messages want to come through most prominently for this week ahead? What do we need to know? What messages are there for this week ahead, please? There's the first one. Panther Spirit. Reclaim your power. That's beautiful. Okay, this is a 4 and a 4, which shows the potential for us moving towards something that might perhaps give us more stability in our lives in some way or another, whatever that means for you. All right, just trying to get the light a bit better here. Why is it so intrusive? Okay, that's a bit better. So when we're looking at cats, they're very agile, they're very attentive, they're very much aware of everything going on around them. They engage all of their senses. All right, so that is sight, smell, taste, hearing, everything that's going on around them. They are so focused on, and they almost have this omnipresence where they're listening and seeing everything. So this is about reclaiming your power. Watch what's going on around you. Be attentive, be present in the moment as well, because I also find that with this energy, it can be very easy for us to be sucked into the drama of others. Okay, and it's like you need to be listening to your own spirit. You need to be walking your own path, walking to the beat of your own drum, to the best of your ability. And that's not to say that we neglect others or we're not there for everybody else, but there are some times when we need to be a little bit independent in our thoughts, in our deeds, in what we are processing, what we're allowing into our minds and our thoughts and our energies and our lives. And this is saying, stand in your power, reclaim your power. Don't let other people threaten you or coerce you, or do anything to kind of take that away. Calm the noise down, which is something that I heard from somebody this week that is really very good advice. Like, don't listen to the noise around you. Don't listen to everybody else's drama. Don't think that you need to get involved in everybody else's drama. Okay, the only way that you reclaim your power is to center yourself and pull your energy back to yourself. So if you're finding yourself spending your energy on other things that either don't concern you, or it's just someone trying to suck you into their drama, whatever the case is, this is a time to kind of not allow that to happen, okay? To center yourself and pull yourself back. This is a powerful energy. When we have 2 4s like this, the number 8 as well, it shows a lot of spiritual power, the potential for things to change, evolve, and move in a positive direction. And it's a number that is very potent, all right, in terms of spiritual support and in terms of the gravity of the message that's trying to be imparted here. Okay, so it's like, I also feel like this is about keeping to ourselves. If we feel like we need to withdraw a little bit, then do that, because that quiet time will help. The panther's a very solitary animal, and it stops and it sits quietly in the dark, and it listens and it observes, and it only acts when it needs to act. I feel like we can take a lot of lessons just from this one card. My grandfather wasn't a man of many words, and He would not interfere. He would not ever judge anybody harshly. He would only say something at the 11th hour if he thought you were going to make a mistake, and then he would say to you, are you sure about this? And if he asked you that, you better know that you're probably making a big mistake. But he was very much of this energy, and he was always a powerful force to be reckoned with. He always stood in his power, even when he was 90 odd years old. He had this presence about him, and he was quiet. He was observing. He didn't get involved. He didn't look for drama, and he could stop an argument just by putting his hand up, because people respected that, and they knew that he only spoke when it was necessary, and so they listened to him. You know, you don't want yourself to be thought of one of those people where they say empty barrels make the most noise, and we don't want to be erratic, and we don't want to be seen as unbalanced, you know. And it's not just about how people see you. I don't mean it by in that way whatsoever, but it's also about how we carry ourselves and how we see ourselves and what we want to project. And we don't need to be seen by everybody. We don't need to be, you know, spreading ourselves so thin because we feel like we need to be doing everything, involved in everything. And this is asking you to pull that power back, pull that energy back for this week, because this is what you need to do. Look how he blends in with this black of my table here. It's like he's just in the shadows there, just observing, taking his time, drawing his energy back to himself, not giving it away, only using it when it's necessary, in small bursts, to catch whatever he needs to catch, or to feed his family or her family. So it's asking us to embody this energy this week. Okay. All right, let's see. What else do we need to know this week, please? Butterfly spirit. Transformation is beautiful. We're definitely going through transformational energy. There's a number 11 as well, which shows the potential for balance. And obviously transformation here. And it is a beautiful thing. It can be very uncomfortable though. All right, I'm sure this butterfly doesn't enjoy really the process of going through being a worm and a pupa and all the rest of it. It's probably not always comfortable, but it's necessary, and it's radical change that it goes through. So I feel like it's really for us to kind of allow ourselves to do that, to be that, to step out of our comfort zone as well. That's vitally important. Transformation can be difficult, but it can be beautiful, and there can be really something wonderful on the other side of it. So whatever you're going through now, there is transformational energy around us, very much so. There are intense solar flares and weird things going on with regards to the sun, and these things do affect us. I mean, we're a little dot in comparison to the sun, and those things do have an impact on us, just like the moon can have an impact on us. So again, we will feel fluctuating energies, we'll feel tensions rising with people around us, with things around us, that we're irritated by everything and we don't really have a reason to be. It can sometimes give us that kind of sensation, and that's when we're not comfortable in our skin and when we're busy changing and transforming. So it's very much something where allow yourself to put yourself in a little cocoon if you need to. All right, allow yourself the time that you need to assimilate all of that, to release certain things. If you need to have a good cry or a meltdown, that brings that transformation. That is part of that transformation. And I feel like once we are in that more balanced state, where we are standing in our power, when we are embracing that transformation, but taking the time that we also need to do this, it's like when you are balanced and you're in a centered place, that's when you can help others. Just like this butterfly, once it's gone through its transformation, which it does need to do partly on its own, it can also then fly with the other butterflies and be part of that group, and they all can be beautiful in their own right and powerful in their own right. So sometimes we find that when we need to help others or do for others or give of ourselves, we can also be enabling people. And when we enable people too much, we also disable them. We don't give them that ownership. We don't give them that governance over themselves, that autonomy over their own situations and their own lives. So sometimes they need to be left to sit in their own cocoon. They can't always share with us. And we need to allow them to do that so they can emerge into what they need to be, so that we can emerge into our true form and what we are meant to be. Because we all do still have our own journeys and our own ways. What else do we need here, please? What else do we need? I saw this card before I even started. This was at the bottom of the deck, and I thought, this is what I was trying to say about walk your own path. Sing your own song. That's really beautiful. This is, I just love this card because I feel as if there is definitely something to do with larger groups of people or a couple of people in your life. And it's just saying, sing your own song, be your own person. And also, I feel like we really need to embrace being ourselves and who we truly are, and not having all the smoke and mirrors and what we think is a societal norm or what will get people to like us or respect us. That's not what life's about. Okay, it's about being that individual. It's about being, who doesn't love and respect a panther, which is a solitary animal? All right, it doesn't have to prove itself to anybody. It stands strong in its own ownership, knowing that it is okay on its own, being observant, sometimes staying in the shadows, okay? But this is saying, I feel like this is almost like after this transformational period that we are able to speak our truth. We're allowed to be, or we allow ourselves to be more authentic. Sing your own song, walk your own path. This is very much the message for this whole week. When I looked at this, I thought, oh, well, this is going to be the story for the week ahead. And here it pops up. Okay, so it's almost like after this transformational period, you then feel like you can say what you need to say, walk to the beat of your own drum, sing your own song, literally. And the more we do that, the more we do display authenticity, the more it does make people gravitate towards us, because we're being real. We're being honest. We're not trying to be fake. We're not trying to be someone that we're not. And we're also being true to ourselves. Because as I always harp on about, we have shared purpose with other people, with other human beings around us, but we also, very importantly, have our own purpose and our own path to walk on this earth. And we need to honor that. The minute we're not honoring that is when we actually get out of balance and out of alignment in our lives. Okay. What else do we need to know this week, please? What else is there? Thank you. Lion spirit. Okay. That's lovely. That reminds me very much of that and what I was saying about my grandfather. He was a Leo and very generous of spirit. But also, when you are generous of spirit, it doesn't mean that you have to give of yourself until you debilitate yourself, until you put yourself at loss. And that's something that not all of us get right. I'm not preaching as if I've never done this before, or I'm not guilty of any of this stuff. It's stuff that I need to work on too. And it's wonderful how I do my readings every week, and they also give me guidance. The individual private readings that I do, the weekly readings that I do, there's always something that I can take from this as well. So I never claim to be faultless or that I don't need the lessons. I'm very, very grateful for the information that comes through as well. This is a number 10. This is how we get to the place we want to be. And I feel like this has really just shown a progress of almost like a transformational period for us. Be generous of spirit. Be willing to give and forgive and have compassion and all of these kinds of things. This is about opening your heart a bit, but also being in that position of power where you don't put yourself in a vulnerable place. It's about still being wise, still having that command and that presence and that autonomy, that power over yourself and yourself as an individual, as your soul on your own personal path as well. Stand in that power. Know that you are supported. Know that you also can support yourself, and you can support others, but only after you've helped yourself. All right? To use another analogy I heard this week, when you're in an airplane and they give you all the rundown on what to do in the case of an emergency, they always tell you to put the oxygen mask on your own face first. And when you are okay and you are comfortable, you are more used to everybody else, and then you can help another person. And I feel like this is very much the same kind of message that's coming through. It's like, take care of you this week. Make sure that you are embracing any transformation that is good for you, even if everybody else doesn't approve of it. There's amazing transformation and change and evolution that can happen here, and you need to embrace that. And if you have to walk that path alone for a little while, that's fine, because we need to do that. We need to nourish ourselves first. I don't know why my phone is doing this. It's very interesting. If I've been talking about something important lately, I've got my phone just playing up a bit. I think it's spirit trying to say, yes, 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 please listen, this is true, this is right. Okay, so I'm sorry for that distorted image there, but maybe we need to listen. This line spirit is a number 10. It shows the closing of cycles potentially, and new beginnings and fresh starts. So a cyclical ending and a new beginning coming up here somehow. And then it's like, then you are really in your power. Then you can give of yourself. Then you're ready to help others. But you first have to go through this transformation. You need to embrace it and know that it can be something great. And maybe you can give 10 times what you initially wanted to give. I hope I said give the first time. Give 10 times what you wanted to give if you can just empower yourself first. Reclaim your power. Be willing to transform. Sing your own song. Walk to the beat of your own drum. And then be generous of spirit. The more we give and the more we have gratitude for what we've got, the more comes back to us. But we also need to be generous of spirit to a point where we can see when we are doing too much or giving too much of ourselves and putting ourselves at, in a detrimental position. So let's see. Is there anything else, please? Otherwise, I'm going to take the bottom of the deck. I think this is going to be a short-ish reading today. Not that it has been, really. And spirit, time to collaborate. Okay, so as I said, I feel like this is a timeline. And there's a number 1. The 10, the cycle ends, and there's a number 1. And spirit, time to collaborate. Okay. So here we have a number 3, the 1 and the 2 together. And I feel as if this is like, you need to sing your own song. You need to be doing what you want to do. And you can help and work with others. But you first have to go through this phase. So I literally feel like this is a progression. It's like a story, a timeline almost, and a storyline. And here are 3 puzzle pieces, which for me is very much like when I said there's like a group of people involved, 3 or more people, something along these lines. And it's like only when you are independent in your own right can you then collaborate with others, and you will have all the tools that you need. You will have all the puzzle pieces that everybody's going to need in this situation. But I feel like this needs to happen first. And I feel like this is a short period of time. I don't think this is going to be a long drawn out process, that it's only going to be in a long time that you're going to eventually collaborate with people or work with someone to build something. The time to work together is going to come. But you also first have to see to your own individual needs and make sure that you are centered and balanced, and you are in a position where you can give the best of yourself in the situation. Okay, this is what this is about. You need to feel empowered. You need to feel like the lion. You need to be able to support yourself, and then also, after that, support other people. We go from the solitary animal to being the lion, which usually is the head of a pride of lion. He has a family that he takes care of. He has little ones that he is generous of spirit with. Yes, some of them get aggressive, but a lot of the time, when it's his family, he's going to look after it. He's going to look after what are his people, whether it's your family, your friends, work colleagues, a team you're trying to work with, or a team you're trying to put together, whatever the case may be. And the ants are this group of like hive mind animals that work together, but they are also independent. They also have their own jobs. You also get the scouts and the soldiers and all the rest, and they know what their work is. They know what their job is. They know what their job is that can be instrumental in collaborating and making a team work, where everybody has a designated job and they know exactly what they need to do. So if you're working in a team, look at people's strengths. See who's going to be best at which thing. Put the puzzles together then. Say, you do this, you do that, you do that, and harness those. And the minute people know that they are designated to do something, it gives them purpose, it gives them focus. And that's when eventually you have all the little bits of the puzzle that you can put together, and that's how you reach your goal. But you have to be strong first. You need to be willing to take the time you need, or do what you need to do for your personal transformation, so that you can give 100%. You can give the best of yourself in that situation when you're collaborating. You're not going to let the team down. And then everything's going to work like a well-oiled machine. Okay, so it's like give everybody a job to do, or let everybody know what they're good at, and that's when you can collaborate. All right, let's see if there's anything else. Anything else for this week, please? Or anything that comes after that? What is the result maybe of this collaboration? A white raven. I love ravens. I've never seen this card actually. Trust in the magic. I feel as if we are doing anything here in the physical 3D, I feel like this is very much a spiritual journey and a personal journey. But I feel like when we get to this stage, this is when this collaboration happens, and you have to be generous of spirit, but you're standing strong. You could find yourself in a leadership position, but don't forget the element of spirit that needs to come in here. Trust in the magic. Ask for that guidance. This bird seems to be looking to the past, as if it has seen certain things or a place that it's come from, but at the same time it looks like a fledgling to me. So it's like being in a situation where you've had to go through something, and now there is a rebirth, but you're in a place of wisdom here, where you've learned from things from the past. Certain things that have gone on have maybe caused you to lose power, maybe made you feel like you're not, you don't know who you are or where you belong or what you're doing next, and these things have thrown you off, and now you're going through a time of transformation where you're getting back on track and you're going to be stronger than ever. I really feel like that is it, and it's almost as if now you're having a new version of yourself. It's almost like a phoenix energy. It's somehow this bird is a fledgling and it's quite young still, but it's got wisdom. And that's synonymous with ravens and crows, that they do have this wisdom. They are, even in the Norse pantheon, when Odin has his ravens, they are Hugin and Munin, and they're called thought and memory. And that's what it's about. And it's they are said to carry those two energies and also be aware of everything else that's going on around in the world and kind of report it back to Odin. So they really represent that, and they do have elements of memory and all of those subconscious kind of energies too. And it says trust in the magic. It's like you're being reborn. You're going to be very new when you emerge from this transformational period, but you're going to be new and strong and in a position of power and wisdom. Trust in the magic. Don't be afraid. Sing your own song. You're going through transformation. There is going to be a rebirth here. Okay. In my opinion, what a beautiful reading. And don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to be different. This is a white raven. He's not a typical black raven. He might not always be accepted by the others, but he walks to the beat of his own drum. He sings his own song. Okay, you don't need to be like everybody else. You don't need to be doing what everybody else is doing. Otherwise, you don't have any individuality. Be yourself in the purest form. Be honest with yourself. Be honest in who you are. Unapologetically. It doesn't mean we have to hurt other people's feelings or be too assertive with things that we feel like we believe in or what we feel are meant for us. Everybody has their own path. Everybody needs to sing their own song. Let us try to be accepting and compassionate of that. Be generous of spirit. Okay, I wish you all a beautiful, beautiful week. I appreciate you all, and I send you lots of love. Please take care of yourselves, and I'll chat to you again soon. Lots of love.